Thank you, Rebbe. Kotov. So we're starting here on page Kuf Kaf. The Bia Rishon and the tenets of Rucha D'shadi Bgvah. So in the first Bia, we have the Bia Rishon and the tenets of Rucha D'shadi Bgvah. There's this Rucha that we've been talking about that has to be sent into the Nook. So let's read down here, and we start like here, number Kaf Bet. So the secret of this kli, its Indian is like this. Adhena is Barba Tikkun the Rishon and the Asabi Yisod the Nook. Now we've been talking about the first Tikkun that takes place in the Yisod of the Nook. V'hu Tikkun Klicha Yisod and the Asa Yedecha V'chayadayim the evil, which is a Tikkun of the Kli of Yisod, which happens as a result of the hands of Ima, which we said are her nai. Now we talk about this a second tikkun place, which is the placing of this rucha into her. Number Kaf Gimel, we know what Rabbi said. She doesn't become pregnant in the first bia. Gam Amra Mazal, the rabbis also say, Ein ha'isha kareses bris, ala the mishal socha kli. She has to have a kli first. So he explains, Mebisari achazal loka. We have this phrase, from my body I can understand God. So that's hard strange, so that's a hard idea, but we said the formation that brings us to understanding of how the Ein Sof operates is from our bodies. We can see that. So therefore, what had been said by Rabbeinu be'inyan the zivuga adam etachton, nilmad inyan zivuga elyon. So from us, you can learn what's going on in the world of Atzilus. Behin is mar b'gemara. The Gemara says the eina isha kareses bris ala the misha l'solokli. Namsinin lamdim shall be a rishona ki bebechidas asiyas kli benuk. So the first riyah merely makes a kli in her. Od Messina b'dibur Rabbi Sender she'amar she'ena isha mesaferet b'bia rishona, that she doesn't become impregnated with the first bia. Ba'al damring zecha b'chu gam came b'bia rishona to zivuga elyon. The same thing is going to happen in Olam Atzilus. Like Vishu Yizbar she'shnei inyanim eino teluyim zeh b'zeh, because these two things, they go together. The kevin shechazivuga rishon ku amchonen v'amasakin. This is what prepares and fixes as clear yisod denok. But from this, that's what it does. It makes a kli, but it doesn't make it possible to give birth. But only after there's a tikkun takes place in the yisod of the nook. For Indian, so the Indian is like this. So then the first bia, the Zachar is putting into the news 5 gevuros. They will always remain in her, be Yisod Shalo, B'Bechid Hashem B'Bayv Dehayin, Hanikra Rucha D'shadi Bgvah. Bia, so he said, B'Bir Ha'inyan Hu. The Atach, B'Bir Rishona. So you had the first meeting, the coupling. Noson is there anpen b'Yisoda of the Yisoda no Chameshes gevuros. He places directly into her the 5 gevuros. Shehem Sheikh Shehem Havaya the Ben, which is the Havaya the Ben, and he expels out here Yud Vav Dali KK Vav Vav KK. Behin the Sha'arnim Tamid b'Yisod Shalo. They always remain in her Yisoda. Bechina Zichat Nikros B'Zohar Rucha D'shadi Bgvah. Of the Kocham he Ma'al Achar Kach B'Shar Bios as a man Tamid, and because of this, the power of this, he's able to elevate from this and all the rest of the intercourse that he has, able to Ma'alaman Tamid. Because she has now these gevuros inside of her. She also has the ability to be able to breathe the seed that's going to come from Zeranpen. And to be able to form them into a vlad. If you didn't have this kli, call the tipos shall shar bios nipsadas mizvadlos, they were always lost and nullified. To elas shall arucha hazucha niteneba bebir rishona hu l'shlosha inyanim. So the purpose of this is for three things. You can accomplish three things with the bia rishona. The bekoach harucha na'asach bira, because this rucha, which it says the 5 gevuros, that the bira process takes place. It pulls sparks of kedusha out of bia. Shana ditzusa b'olam's bia. V'olam the man al zer anpin, and they go up into zer anpin, the tzorach zivug hasheni l'choleda, for the purpose of giving birth. Base number 2. There's a second thing. Ayedesha nisakin kli yisoda, because when we get tikkun in the kli of yisod, yeholach anuk l'kabel b'zer anpin as tipas aman. Now you made her like in a base kibble. Shemekabelas be'es zivug hasheni, that she's now going to be able to be able to process what comes about as the second yichud. Which is where in the second gevur, and this important idea, the second bia, she's going to be receiving chasadim. That should remain inside of her and not spill out. So for the power of this rucha that she has in her yesod, yesh b'koach hanuk l'tzayir as a tipo, she has the ability to be able to form up these drops of seed. As we're going to explain, and this will be this is so this number kafvav. So she doesn't become impregnated from the first bia, because the first tipa makes her into a kli. Now once she has a kli, as Shaar tipas, and kli means, that element of her that's able to make a vlad. Shall acher kach mitzayvach b'sham b'savros. So this we have the idea of what the rabbis say. Sheina isha misaveres ala b'bia rishona, the woman can only become impregnated from her first bia. Shechein kodem bia zu ein locha b'dachim as b'chidas arucha, because still from this bia ein lo adayim as b'chidas arucha. So let me read this again. Bezecha b'vucha b'masha amber chazal she'ein ha'isha b'severes ala b'bia rishona shechein kodem b'bia zucha ein lo adayim as b'chidas arucha. She doesn't have it, so therefore she can't do anything without this rucha. What is the rucha? Once again, he's saying that those 5 gevuros that come into her. He's also said that they are also in the form of ben, of yud vav dalet kk vav vav kk, that gematria of the milui of Abaya. Because at this point she can't receive anything. She can't get the man that's coming from below her, and she can't get the man that's coming from up above her. As a rucha b'bia rishona, but only after she received it. This is Rucha D'shadi Bgvah. She's able to receive Yechola mekan ve'ela b'bios abos l'kabel l'satipa b'yisoda, and be able to mitzvah b'sham levad. So now we're on number Kaf, that was Kaf Aleph, so now we're on Kaf Base, and Kaf Base says like this. It says, Ve'elu hein l'sha'aros tamid ba b'yisod shalal, so they command constantly or continue to be with her in her yisod. Hiksham meforshim, so there's a problem here. The chalocha bevur, the command later on, he's going to say, Shebekol yom v'yom mistalik b'chinas arucha, she comes back to be a basula, but now you're saying that these 5 gevuros remain in her. So he said, "Al kain sarik la'asos kol yom mechadash zivik to be a rishon v'sosakli." So you have to make a new one every day. Ve'ech omer kan the rebbeinu shadish every time it be yisoda. So he said, "Well, this is a little bit of a problem." Ve'ayin mashu kasavta b'zechel v'kaman, and later on he's going to get into that in the shefa. We'll be able to see what he means by that. Let's go over to number Kaf Gimel, and the Kaf Gimel says like this: Bebechinis Shem Havaya, the Hayin Hanikru Rucha D'shadi Bgvah, which is called a Rucha that's sent into her. Be'inyan Rucha Nimshecha B'Bia Rishona, and we're talking about that Rucha that comes into her at the Bia Rishona. Yesh Bezecha Mevucha Mevafarshim. People really get into the depth on this, and he says what? Shechein yesh l'shonos sosrim b'divrei harav b'kama. This is lots of different places where we have contradiction. The shame rucha, what in regards to what we call this rucha. The kan old makomos, because here and then other places he says, where is that? In the Eitz Chaim he says, and the Shaar Tas is a Perek Aleph. He said va'od mevucher rucha ki shem havai the ben. Now he says that, right? We said that in the Pirush Ruchot. L'uma zos b'mavu sharim, it says what mevur the shem ben hu haman shenitim b'yisod the nook. That's not what the five gevuros are. He says that the ben actually is the man shenitim b'yisod the nook that's placed into the nook. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is here. V'lo harucha but not the rucha. Now let me see. He says so. He says this. We're saying the Pirush said that the Rucha D'shadi Bgvah is a ben, and here he says no. That's not the ben. The ben is the man shenita b'yisod nuk v'lo rucha atzva, but it's not the rucha. I know what the difference is, but at the end, he said there's something in there. You could call this the man that's in her, which is going to bring her back up. The command, and later on mavur the rucha ki bechinas rayo. There's another place that says the rucha is something else. What's rayo? He says haino. This is what he says about rayo. He said the haino acharayim the chavai peshuta. It's the backside of the chavai peshuta. So if you take the revua of havaya, comes to number av 2072. Then you take that 72 and you tzirif acharayim the chavaya the ben. You take the acharayim of the chavaya the ben, which is a gematria of kedem. Now you have kedem and av. Kedem is 144, which is double av. So you actually have three avs here going this way. This all needs a place in my mind exactly how we're working this around. There's so many different ways to get to rayo. Ha'olim rayo. So this all gets to the number 216. V'yi'un b'miluyin. There's also more where it talks on Siman Zion. I think we saw that. Gesavna b'zeh. So that we actually looked at ahead of time, and I'm not going to go back there. So let's go on to the next little piece. We have a little bit of time here. So the next little piece, it says so the miuch. So miuch means like smashing or mashing. Something like that. Mold. It means molding, but it's lashon gevura. V'hinech b'zman the rishona hoya mitzias motziin habesulin be'etzba v'hein mamachim biyad. So let me see where I'm at. Maybe okay. So let me start. I started reading up above. I was going to read down below. We have like 3 minutes. So number Kaf Zion says, V'hine kan chozer rav levayer as a tikkun the rishon shal klicha yisod the nuk atzva. So now I'm going to talk about what actually happens, what goes on. Hanaasa yedei hayadayim the ima. So we say these yadayim the ima. Why do we call the nai of ima yadayim? Because they have the ability to mash and to mold and to make things. So milvad hatikun and the asa yedei rebbe rishona shu hamshacha sarucha, which is the hamshacha of this rucha. So he said bismana risho koyim motzian. So way back when. Bismana rishonim. I read it wrong. So he said koyim motzian abesulin be'etzba. They were able to remove the blockage, which is as a result of a besulin. And they were able to do it with a finger, with their fingers. Ma'akim biyad. In other words, they would smash it down with their fingers. What's the reason why they do that? So that they're not wasting the seed. It shouldn't be just for the purpose of being matikun kli, but the reason why they did this, so that tikkun they're doing with the fingers, she is aver gam be a rishona, so that they should become impregnated also with the first bia. So he says in this bar the Gemara explains like this: should be made kadim from going way back when. Nashim Sharatzal Aver B'Bia Rishona. There were women who wanted to become impregnated in the first bia. So we're just going through the process of saying you can't become impregnated with the first bia, except they said Anashim. So he says these are the Nashim, the women of the house of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. V'letzorach kach miyakol v'hotzio as b'luseichem be'etz be'eichem, so that they smashed down their basula, they made an opening. Umasha rotzali his ave b'beir rishonachon b'kedei shechatipos the beir rishon lo yuchlu lo yelchu lebetola. V'his ave b'yad b'beir rishon, so that this could be a potential birth, impregnation. So this brother also b'shnei paulos. Achas hu tikkun klicha yisod and nokvach shenis b'bia zu no send the bara be'ishtocha bechidas arucha, so she gets this rucha. Nimsa shekoda b'bia hikris l'holeda sheha b'bia shnia. Tzarek la'aso shtei tikkunim be'isha. You have to do both of these things. Ha'echad the sakin is klicha yisoda, v'hasheni the said b'yisoda chazamrucha. V'hidach ha'vetikan the rishon ein sarg shi asa davka ayidach ha'bazaka be'eza b'yiz rishon. It doesn't have to be done, that first part, the miach of the basulos. V'yichol la'asos al yidach b'miach be'etzva. ובזכר מבורך ואמר בנashim בדורס הקודמים שמעקו, או מיעקו, בסולחם באצבע, וכך תיקנו as a תיקון של עשיית כלי, so therefore she's able to make the kli עוד קודם בביאה ראשונה, even before she gets to the first biah. כדי שיוכלו להסעבר מיד בביאה ראשונה, so she become immediately impregnated. For the Indian, the tikkun, the deceit is the rucha shadayim l'chon na'asa, v'im came ech yochlo le'is'aver chadayim shefa gavanos. So there's going to be a shefa on this, and we'll pick that up.